Why don't people max out their credit cards right before they die? Some do. My mom didn't really have an estate, and the creditors can't go after her pension that me and my sister got. Looking back at it now after over a decade, she definitely knew what she was doing, lol. At the time though, I was young and naive and didn't really put two and two together. But looking back at all that shit she bought the last couple years before her death for me and my sister, yeah, it makes sense, lol. I drove her car around for months, going through tolls and all types of shit, lol. Finally abandoned it in a shitty neighborhood waiting for it to get repoed. I think the group of people who know they're about to die and feel inclined to spend that time shopping is fairly small. As others note, the debt would be taken out of the estate, and more importantly, if the person has a spouse and they are a joint account holder or they live in a community property state, it would be the obligation of the spouse. Most dying people aren't trying to screw their spouse over, even if they don't care if they leave nothing behind for their other heirs. Some do, but it's also tough because people don't know when they are going to die, they wouldn't know when to start spending. My father had no estate and no money or property, but a few thousand in credit debt that just went away when he died. And knowing my dad, if he had known he was about to die, he would've maxed them out. I actually know someone that did that. The person didn't have any asset which could be sold, lived in an apartment, and had maybe 1,000 to their name at that point. Because the credit card company gets dibs on any money left in the estate before it passes on to heirs. Doug Stanhope talks about how he maxed out his mother's credit cards after she died. He waited until the statute of limitations for credit fraud expired before he talked about it in his act. Everyone is saying because it comes out of the estate. Well, if I don't have family, why would I give a shit? If they are assholes, why would I give a shit? If I have no cash, why would I give a shit? I would definitely max out my credit cards with experiences. If I'm too ill to travel, then I'm maxing it out on food, a nice bed, good TV, etc. I'm gonna go with they may be a bit more concerned about dying and non-existence than a BMW with seat warmers. 1. Not everyone knows they are about to die. 2. Not everyone is in a state to be able to go shopping before they die. 3. While debt in your name only cannot survive your death to be passed on to someone else, the creditors can make a claim on your estate to collect the debt, thus compromising any inheritance you wanted to leave behind. Advice, at least for America, for everyone talking about taking it out the estate, the trick many don't do is putting everything in a trust under your trustworthy kids' names, or whoever's getting it. They don't count as assets you own anymore and can't be touched once you die. After that, any debt the deceased has that doesn't have anyone else's name on it gets erased. Companies may try threatening you that this isn't true, but just say you have a lawyer who told you and they'll back off. Source: personally went through it. My grandfather went to the casino and borrowed tens of thousands. We had big guys in suits coming to our door demanding the money. I remember my dad saying, "It ain't like he left the casino with the money, you just let him play cards for a few days. We're not giving you shit." My grandfather was given 6 months to live when my mom was pregnant with me. He built a new house on a decently large property and bought grandma a new car, furniture, pours, pens, tons of decorations, etc. He had a very good life insurance policy which would pay off everything for her and leave her with a decent payout as retirement pension. Well, grandpa didn't die until 2 years ago. I'm 32. They lost everything because they couldn't afford it. Back in the 90s, I taught at a school that had a female teacher there. She was about 45 and single. She traveled heavily every school break. The other staff gossiped about her. They would criticize her because she lived beyond her means, had credit cards that were maxed out, no savings, on and on. Well, she went on a cruise on the Danube one school break. She died of an aneurysm while there. I thought, good for her. She lived while she was alive. She didn't leave anyone, so she spent everything she earned and then some. Good for her. Payment will be taken out of their estate before any of their heirs get it. And many people still believe in honesty. The older I get, the less crap I want. You learn that stuff is just not that important. My grandma did that except she's still alive. Goes out to dinner with her friends, plays bingo, and ignores the banks. My dad did this. He always wanted to go on a shopping spree, so they put him in a wheelchair and went and bought whatever he wanted. He had some of it delivered to the house at a later time because they couldn't fit it all in the car. He died a week later. His partner, my other dad, died 2 days later. I was 15. Well, not everyone knows they are going to die. My brother had credit cards with credit limits of over 50,000 combined. He did not owe one when he died. He was working really hard to build his credit and was so proud of his hard work. I guess when he ran to Albertsons to grab some groceries, he didn't know he'd never make it home. If he did, he probably would have paid credit for the groceries that would later spoil in what was left of his car. Because, fun fact, many people don't end up dying, or they die much later than they thought. In many cases, people who are about to die can't exactly rake up a debt, and if someone rakes the debt up via power of attorney, they end up with the debt. So if I have POA on my grandmother and rake up a debt on her card, I end up with the debt. On top of that, if you bought stuff that costs money, vehicle, house, share of a property, it's an asset to seize. Credit card company will find a way, and the best out is not having anything in your name which may cause problems with Medicare and whatnot, and having no family. Also, I swear it's the plot of that Queen Latifah movie where she was supposed to die in a month, but didn't. Granted, she also didn't rake up a debt. Yo, who the hell are the people in here talking about honesty, honor, and other shit like that? Do people really give a shit about credit card companies? Literally credit card company shills?